Ultra Instinct is the most iconic transformation in Dragon Ball Super. With a brilliantly executed introduction, it has some of the most memorable moments in all of Dragon Ball. So it's no wonder why Ultra Ego has failed to live up to the impact and hype of Ultra Instinct. Although Ultra Ego is in many ways an opposite but equal to Goku's Ultra Instinct, there are 5 ways which it has fallen short, making Ultra Instinct the superior form between the two. The first one being it's no mistake that upon its introduction, Ultra Instinct broke the internet and Ultra Ego didn't. But what is it that made the form's introduction work better than Ultra Ego's introduction? Its build-up. It all started back at the Zen exhibition when Toppo first hinted at Jiren's power.
And while I hate to even speak with you, you must know the truth. There is another warrior from the 11th universe who's even stronger than I am, villain. My sworn ally, Jiren the Grey. If you can only fight me to a draw, you have no hope of defeating him.
Jiren.
Just after witnessing Toppo himself push Goku to use his full strength, this scene left you as the viewer interested in seeing how powerful this Jiren is, but at the same time concerned for Universe 7's safety as the stakes for the tournament were very high. The anticipation for Jiren's power was further elevated by Jiren being shown in the intro song of the tournament 31 episodes before the actual fights would take place. That is 31 weeks of build-up, given that the anime had a weekly release schedule. Couple that with the fact Jiren never really showed us much of his power during the early parts of the tournament, and whenever he did, it was a badass moment that would serve to show us a glimpse of his power and hype him further. These scenes left us wanting to see more of his power. All these tiny elements would finally come together to pay off what was set up months ago when it was finally announced that the anime would be taking a break for a week in order to prepare for a 2-episode special. Fans knew something big was on the way, and on the day of the 2-episode special, the anticipation was at an all-time high. Crunchyroll and all other platforms that streamed the episode crashed due to the sheer volume of traffic they received, and that it happened.
Here it comes.
Upon first glance, Ultra Instinct looked majestic. It left everyone gazing at it in awe. You could tell this wasn't just another transformation. It was set apart from the rest. It broke the formula of recoloring Goku's hair and added a new layer to transformations. Instead of it just being another power booster like all the other forms, it was a technique that allowed the user to attack and dodge attacks on instinct. What added more weight to the form was the god standing up in reverence upon Goku mastering it. This is a form that brought Dragon Ball fans in a way that Dragon Ball might never replicate again. Ultra Instinct would just continue to be cool and create one of the coldest finishes in anime history. Ultra Instinct saved the day. It was a game changer and is a transformation that has earned its place in history along other iconic moments like Super Saiyan Goku on Namek or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the Cell Saga. But when it comes to Ultra Ego, it was never shown nearly the amount of care and respect that Ultra Instinct received. Its introduction was kinda hype, but it didn't break the internet. That's mostly because it didn't have much build up leading up to it like Ultra Instinct. The fact is, even much in Vegeta is more of an iconic moment in Vegeta's character and is much better than Ultra Ego because it had built up to it going all the way from the Saiyan saga.
Whole civilizations once trembled at the sound of my name, but you didn't, did you, Kakarot? And at your hands, your common hands, my honor and my pride, the foundations upon which I have always stood, began to crumble at my feet.
It also led to a memorable moment that has earned its place in history as a moment that will be remembered for as long as people still talk about Dragon Ball.
And yes, even for you, Kakarot.
The fact that Vegeta lost Ultra Ego's debut fight also didn't help at all. It instead enraged Vegeta fans and left them feeling disappointed. On top of that, the form had no cool moments despite it being used so much already. I feel like the only reason people like Ultra Ego is because it's Vegeta's form. It's a shame that a form which was supposed to be Ultra Instinct's equal has failed so miserably to come even close to what Ultra Instinct is. Ultra Instinct was first hinted at in episode 5 of the anime, when Goku dodged Beerus' attack on pure instinct. Although the writers may had not conceived of the idea of Ultra Instinct at this point, they at least tried their best to follow up on this moment and connect it to something bigger.
The end goal for you both should be to master the ability to have each part of your body think and move independently of all other parts. I admit this is exceedingly difficult. In fact, not even Lord Beerus has mastered this completely yet, and he's a god. But if you overcome the learning curve, you'll be able to avoid any danger, however severe.
You can tell more thought was put into crafting this concept, one which would pay off 100 episodes later. This shows in the fact that Ultra Instinct is a form of martial arts in Dragon Ball. It's a technique that adds to Goku's journey to being one of the greatest martial artists in the Dragon Ball universe. The manga does a better job at clarifying this more. Instead of Goku attaining Ultra Instinct by being exploded by the Spirit Bomb, it comes to him as the culmination of all the training he has previously done. Once he sees Roshi demonstrate a pseudo version of the technique, something clicks inside of him and it all comes together, allowing him to obtain Ultra Instinct. This validates Goku's previous training. It wasn't all just for more power, but it was leading up to something bigger that no amount of raw might can help you attain, as seen with the gods of destruction who are so powerful yet they fail to master this technique, which is the pinnacle of martial arts in the Dragon Ball universe. Ultra Ego is a transformation that was not foreshadowed. This caused it to feel rushed and also feel like it was given to Vegeta out of pity, to please Vegeta fans by giving them the illusion that Vegeta has caught up to Goku, only for him to lose every single damn fight in that form. I even go as far as saying Ultra Ego does in some ways hurt or hinder Vegeta's growth as a character and makes him a hypocrite. In the Tournament of Power of the anime, Vegeta criticized Toppo for tossing aside his principles and beliefs in justice to play God.
Only a failure abandons his principles and pride.
Yet Vegeta learns Hakai and unlocks Ultra Ego and proceeds to do the same thing Toppo did, except that he tosses aside his character development for a moment. He was willing to blow up Granola's planet, which he knew had innocent aliens called Shugarians living on it. We all know at this point that the days of Vegeta being a ruthless saint who kills the innocent with no mercy are behind him. Yet Ultra Ego requires him to go back into his destructive nature to function at its full potential. You could say Ultra Ego suits Vegeta as a fighter, but not the character he has become. Vegeta himself admits this by saying, "Apologies Lord Beerus, I couldn't revert to the careless, unfeeling man I once was." So overall, Ultra Ego is a transformation that exists to create the illusion of Vegeta catching up to Goku, yet it doesn't add much to his character and keeps getting screwed over, making it a new efficient way of jobbing.
Come to you! Vegeta's getting severely pummeled.
Vegeta's Ultra Ego is a double-edged sword because the form's main ability relies on his body getting wrecked in order to work. Even though this ability allows Vegeta to grow stronger, punishment to his body still wears him down and eventually his body gives out in battle. This makes the form in and of itself flawed from its foundation and impractical in drawn-out battles. The technique itself is not all bad, but the way Vegeta chooses to use it makes it worse. He abuses this ability by getting hit on purpose with hopes he'll surpass his enemy this way. Vegeta shouldn't do this because he ends up looking like a clown. What he should do instead is to allow the form to make him stronger if it happens he gets hit by his opponent, not turn himself into a punching bag on purpose like a moron. Contrast this with Ultra Instinct and discover that the technique itself is pure and has no weaknesses. You could object and say its weakness is that it drains Goku's stamina too quickly. When the form drains Goku's stamina, it's not an indication of the technique being flawed, but rather Goku's body is to blame for not being able to handle its power. Ultra Ego causes Vegeta to sacrifice his defensive ability to gain more offensive power which he can no longer use by the time enough has built up, because he is losing too much blood and is about to pass out. This makes Ultra Instinct have the superior technique, because no matter how much you dodge in a fight, it's never gonna detriment a fighter in any way. But dodging is not all Ultra Instinct has to offer. To win a fight, you still need offensive power, which Ultra Instinct offers a significant boost of attack power. Not only that, but Goku's durability itself is increased, meaning if his opponent is fast enough to strike him, he can still take a decent amount of abuse and keep on fighting. So Ultra Instinct is a more well-rounded form which increases both defense and offense, both of which are very important to win a fight. This makes it more reliable in drawn-out battles. During Whis' training with Goku in Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 68, Whis tells Goku that he has a greater command of Ultra Instinct than Meru's, and the Grand Priest's Ultra Instinct is even more accurate than his own. He then follows by telling him that he is at the bottom of the ladder in terms of mastering the form/technique, and he has that much room to grow. This conversation highlights something very important, and it's that Grand Priest has the highest level of mastery over Ultra Instinct and Goku is at the bottom, meaning Goku has chose the right technique to master because it has the potential to be pushed to reach the same level of mastery as Grand Priest. Now when we look at Ultra Ego from the same lens, we see that Beerus is the one who taught Vegeta this technique. Therefore, it's safe to assume that Beerus himself has the technique and has mastered Ultra Ego. That would make him the highest extent to which the form can be mastered to. This means Vegeta can only ever get as strong as Beerus is by choosing to master this power. And we all know even if Beerus has mastered Ultra Ego and used full power, he is not even 1% as strong as Grand Priest is. So by looking at it this way, Vegeta chose to master a technique that would limit him to only go as far as Beerus can. This last point comes as a result of Goku having more training of Ultra Instinct than Vegeta has trained his Ultra Ego, but it's still something worth mentioning because it makes UI better than UE. Whis told Goku while training him in the Granola Saga that he should stop thinking of Ultra Instinct as a transformation, but rather as a technique instead, and that the silver hair form itself is not the technique of Ultra Instinct, but is a last resort in a fight to draw out the full potential of the extent Goku has mastered the technique to. This led to him learning to use the technique in his base form, and because Goku is such a good martial artist, he takes this principle and adopts it to using the technique of Ultra Instinct in any state he is in, resulting in him combining it with his Super Saiyan transformations. This drastically improved the speed of his Super Saiyan God form in his fight against Granola, and later combined it with SS Blue. Due to the evasive nature of Ultra Instinct, this was a very well choreographed fight with very good paneling from Toyotaro. With Vegeta's technique, it is still limited. He has to use the transformation in order to access the technique which the transformation has to offer. Vegeta has also never been shown to use Hakai outside of his Ultra Ego state, which is something Goku did in his Super Saiyan Blue state against Merch Zamasu in the manga's version of the Goku Black Saga. It's funny when you realize people are happy Vegeta finally goes down a unique path of power by learning Ultra Ego, but Hakai is something Goku already knows, meaning Vegeta is still learning something Goku already has, just like how he's always gotten a new Super Saiyan form after Goku did. Nothing much has really changed, which is why Ultra Ego is just a disappointment.